What is default judgment in civil procedure for the bar exam? Have you ever wondered what happens when a defendant doesn't show up in court? This situation leads us to the concept of default judgment, a key topic in civil procedure and essential for the bar exam. A default judgment is a ruling made by a court in favor of the plaintiff when the defendant fails to respond to a court summons or appears in court. Understanding this concept can be a game changer for your bar exam preparation. Let's break it down. First, what is a default? A default occurs when a defendant does not file a timely answer with the court. This means they have not defended themselves against the claims made by the plaintiff. The court then notes this in the case file, marking the defendant as in default. If the defendant remains in default, the plaintiff can request a default judgment. This is essentially a judgment entered against the defendant because they have not taken any action to defend themselves. Now, how does one enter a default judgment? There are two main ways. If the plaintiff's claim involves a specific amount of money, the court clerk can enter a default judgment upon the plaintiff's request. However, this is only possible if the defendant is not a minor or an incompetent person. On the other hand, if the claim involves more complex issues, such as determining damages, the court itself must enter the default judgment. In these cases, the court may hold hearings to resolve the issues before making a ruling. It is also important to know that a default judgment can be set aside. If the defendant can show good cause for not responding or appearing in court, they may have a chance to challenge the judgment. This process is typically governed by Rule 60(b) of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. For your bar exam preparation, understanding default judgments is vital. Familiarity with the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, especially Rules 55 and 60(b), is essential. These rules outline how defaults and default judgments are handled. Additionally, keep in mind that while federal rules provide a framework, the specific criteria for default judgments can vary by jurisdiction. Being aware of these differences is crucial for answering bar exam questions accurately. Lastly, practice applying these rules to hypothetical scenarios. This will help you identify when a default judgment is appropriate and how it might be challenged. By incorporating these concepts into your study routine, you will be well equipped to tackle civil procedure questions on the bar exam.